Hey everyone, Pupsker here. If you didn't know, during Warframe Devstream 188, they got up the Warframe Devstream news recap, and they actually wrote down a lot of news about Oraxia. So if you don't know, Araxia is the confirmed Spiderframe, and they gave actually a surprisingly brief yet full rundown of her kit, maybe missing out an ability or two. But let's take a quick look, right? So one of her abilities, seek out weakened prey to siphon them for energy and health. I think that's going to work very similarly to like kind of Garuda jumping on enemies, but we'll see. Ensnare your enemies in a web. Maybe that might work similar to Korra's webbing with her fourth ability, right? Well, maybe it's going to be like that. We'll have to see, right? Summon Spiderlings. A lot of people have been talking about the Spiderlings. Are they going to be similar to Nyx's maggots? Or what do you think? More similar to Caliban summons, as like Caliban summons are bigger and tankier, do more damage, and are more substantial pound for pound. I'm kind of curious about that. They have confirmed seemingly during this Devstream overview that she will be able to climb along walls like a spider can. I know during the dev stream they were talking about this and they kept bringing it up, saying we're gonna, we're trying to get that done, we're trying to get it so that she can wall walk, but seemingly here they're saying no, we're getting it done, it's happening, 100% confirmed, climb along walls only like a spider can. Offering a fresh form of mobility in Warframe. Yes, Spiderframe is finally confirmed. They gave some of the lore, right? Araxia's been subjected to years of isolation, trapped within one of Duviri's islands. This patient web weaver was driven mad, and now unable to tell friend from a foe, Rusalka's invasion reveals this new mini-boss to us, a Warframe we must take down. So it's going to be like how Kurlevo was one boss, Araxia is going to be in the Isle Weavers in Duviri, she is going to be another boss. Side boss, mini boss, whatever. It's all the same in my mind. As well, Araxia will bring her alt helmet, armor, stuff like that. For more details to come with Araxia's abilities, coming next dev stream. But they do still have this lovely video where they do go over Araxia herself quickly, just showing her off. They don't actually go over her abilities, they just go over her really cool looking idle animation 1-2. They go over her legs right there. So that'll be on the walls 100%. And then you'll see that she will also be propped up on the wall. And in theory, when she's done, she'll be able to move and everything there. But as of right now, they have not shown off her moving. They have not shown off anything like that. But hey, that's okay. That's okay. Araxia is still looking great and looks very interesting. Now let's kind of judge what her abilities might look like. So her first, or one of the abilities they mention, is her being able to siphon energy and health from enemies. I think this is going to work very similar to kind of how you jump on enemies to make a blood altar. I think it's very similar to how you rip out the life force of Dreadmere. Okay, so I'm going to be using just right now Garuda as an example. That's right, I didn't just bring them up as a meme earlier. I have my companion there, but I think it's gonna be like that. You jump towards the enemy, and then you kind of rip their life force out. So I do think it's gonna functionally work the same as jumping on them with Bloodmere from Garuda. I think it's gonna work functionally the same. I believe the way it's worded, it's probably gonna have like a 20% health kill, instant kill. So let's say if the enemy is at 20% health, it's gonna be an instant kill kind of deal. It seems like that's the way it's worded, since it's seek out weakened prey to siphon them for health and energy. So it legitimately either sounds like you will be using your own form of blood altar on an enemy, or you'll be kind of like finishing them with an ability where you siphon health and energy and they just end up dying. So that's kind of how I think that first ability is going to go. They also talked about the ability with webs. That's another one. In my mind, Warframe doesn't have a lot of webs or snares in the game that are really worth it. Even Korra's, like, her first ability, Whip Claw, is not great. It's like a knockdown. I shouldn't say it's not great. It does a lot of damage. It's really great. But it's not great as a snare, because her fourth ability is the Strangle Dome. That is her snare ability, or just straight up using Ensnare, right? Because they're kind of the same. Either way, let's look at Ensnare first. I think this is how the web's gonna work. Straight up, like, you'll just hit them with the web, And I do think it's going to hit people around them as well. Like, I honestly think the web's going to be just Ensnare 2.0. But since I know they don't want it to be Ensnare 2.0, they might add some mechanics. So if anyone has been playing something like Marvel Rivals, maybe they'll make him, like, Araxia more Spider-Man-y. Maybe they'll have, like, a one shootout Ensnare where it, like, hits one enemy. I still think it's going to be, like, an AoE radius where it kind of webs everyone together. Or they might do it where it's a big AoE radius that you place it down like the Strangle Dome, and you shoot your web down, and then maybe it's like webbed on the ground, you know? So then it's a little webbed AoE area. We obviously don't know how it's going to work, but I just think it's going to work very similarly to how Korra works. I know a lot of people are bringing up Korra saying she's kind of already like a Spiderframe, which was really funny because I disagree. But people are like, well, is she like with the web and the ensnaring, she's like a Spiderframe. Obviously not her general vibe, but like the idea of her kit is very Spiderframey. And then I was like, okay, yeah, fair enough, fair enough. It's like her vibe isn't Spider-framey, but her kit, even though she's the cat lady, it's very Spider-framey, right? Instead of Whip Claw, you have Thwap, you just spit out some web, right? You still have Ensnare, which could be a web AoE, and then you have your AoE Strangle Dome, which could be like Fire Web, who knows? Either way, I think it'll work like that, okay? That's how I think the Ensnare is going to work. The Spiderlings, on the other hand, though, this one's going to be really interesting. Is it going to work like Nidus's little, like, maggots? I think the maggots are Nidus's passive, right? I don't, or do they just spawn off something? No, they totally spawn off one of his abilities. Somewhere, okay, it's the fourth ability that spawns maggots with Ravenous. So, as you can see, the maggots in Nidus's ability are kind of like little dudes that are just running around the Nidus Ravenous biome, and they just straight up suicide bomb into the enemies. So a lot of people are thinking that the Oraxia Spiderlings might be the exact same or very similar to the maggots. Like, she shoots down her web area with her like ensnared AoE web, right? You spawn the Spiderlings on it to get a bonus or to keep hidden, regen, who knows? It seems like they're setting her up to be like an Oberon Spiderframe kind of deal. Or like, not Oberon, just straight up Nidus Spiderframe, where you have your AoE area where maggots or spiders either get buffed or spawn or something like that. But this is all just pure speculation, okay? We don't actually know. We're just theory crafting. We at least know what her abilities are. We just don't know how they're gonna work or operate as of right now, because the spiders could actually be a massive ability, such as Caliban's summons. They could be big Spiderlings, and you could get all types of different spawns up on there. Could we have like tank spiders, DPS spiders, healer spiders? Are they only going to have one type of spider? I assume they're only going to have one type of spider, because I don't think we're going to get the Conchylist, Ortholist, and Summalist treatment out of the Spiderframe. I think if they do a summon Spiderling's ability like the Lethal Progeny works, I do think it'll only be like one type of Spiderling. Or maybe the Spiderlings will do a thing where you change color, or depending on what element you have on your melee weapon or something like that. Maybe it'll be based off the color of your energy on your Warframe. Maybe the Spiderlings will have different sorts of statuses on them, right? You know, green for toxin, red for heat, things like that. Blue for cold, but probably not. I'm just, you know, it's possible. It's possible. And then last but not least is like the wall climb. You got to remember, this isn't like the full complete kit in theory. Those might be 4 abilities. Like in theory, those could be all 4 of her abilities. Ability 1, Seek Out, Weaken, Prey, Siphon for health energy. Ability 2, Web, Ensnare. Ability 3 could be Summon Spiderlings. And ability 4 could be increased mobility and buffs and ability to walk on walls, right? So then like you look at her like a mobile frame that runs on walls, shoots at enemies, ensnares them down. I know a lot of people have been like, oh, so Loki's passive is going to be useless and stupid, but let's be real, Loki's passive has always been useless and stupid. It's not a big deal. I know, it's just a little goofy. I don't think anyone's super serious about the point that like, oh no, this is gonna totally ruin Loki's passive, everybody. 10 times longer wall climb? Wall latch? Loki's dead. It's a good meme though. But I do believe Araxia will be able to fully run around the wall, gain buffs from it, set up her little Spiderling spider web biome, and then just kill around. We, again, don't know the full extent of how those abilities are going to work, but hey, at least we have it in writing. So feel free to judge Araxia over here as you will. I'm quite excited for her. She looks really cool. It's bringing the clan operation, and we get a full new Incarnate Heavy Scythe. At first I was like, is this going to be an Incarnate Adapter? But no, it looks like it's going to be a full-on Incarnate Heavy Scythe. So that's going to be really cool. We haven't had too many brand new full Incarnate weapons, so hopefully it's a really good weapon. It'll probably be a strong slash weapon since it is a heavy scythe, but there's a lot of Warframe info on the Devstream recap here, but nothing fully new outside of those abilities that we haven't gone over in previous videos. We might take a look at one of the Warframe Quality of Life New Player Experience forum posts, though, in my next video, so let me know. I'm just going to continually finish off Claire Obscure Expedition 33, and by the time we're done that, the Warframe update next week will probably be out, and we'll get back to making Warframe videos. So I appreciate everyone being here. Thank you for watching videos, whether they're Warframe or not. I do need to take occasional breaks from Warframe so I don't go too insane. So I appreciate everyone being here, but more Warframe is coming. Thank you. Let me know if there's any guides or specific videos you want, Warframes or anything like that. Let me know. Cheers.